See, if your life was a movie and the movie started now, what would the audience be screaming at you right now to do?
To become the person you want, you must destroy the person you are. To become the person you want, you must destroy the person you are. To become the person you want, you must destroy the person you are.
That's a line that originated from Joe Rogan, but it was popping off on TikTok and I thought it sounded cool as cause it sent me on an introspective crash out, to say the least. Yeah, it didn't actually, I just wanted to say that because it sounded more dramatic, but it did get me thinking, what if we did decide to view our lives as a movie? And so what if we decided that this was the final arc we needed in our movie that changed the entire course of our lives permanently?
This is the fun thing about taking cinematic shots, you always have to come back and get the camera, but looks good.
And you may be thinking, oh C7, that's pretty cringe, why would I pretend my life's a movie? Well, why not? If you want me to get deep on your ass for a second, pause. From the moment you are born until the moment you die, there is a dash of time in between. And that dash of time is essentially your movie. And you get to decide how you're going to spend it. You can spend that time resenting yourself, resenting how your life is playing out, or you can spend it trying to become the person you actually want to be.
Alright, gym time, bro, let's do this. I hope I have the balls, the courage to record even if there's people in there, so yeah, let's see what happens. See, over these last 2 years, I'd say I've been pretty locked in. In that time, I became a content creator, built an alright physique. In that time, I haven't even drank alcohol, and I know that may make me sound like a psycho, but I did it for the mental clarity aspects and all of that shit, you know, and it's good, it's good. And look, bro, that's quite the change from someone who was a previous degenerate. Like, no cap, 2 years ago, I was not fit to sit down and do an hour of work a week. I'm not even joking. I'd have all these big goals and say I wanted to do all this, like, become a big YouTube creator, all of this, and I could not sit down to do any work. Let's just say I've had quite the transformation. But I ain't even gonna lie, bro, these last few months I feel as though I fell back into a rut. Not to say I've become a degenerate again, but I feel as though my progress has plateaued, and you know, sometimes that's just because life comes along and hits you with a 3-piece combo from behind to the nuts, and it's just like, deal with it, and you're like, fuck. Not to say my life's hard in the slightest, because it isn't, but sometimes we just go through shit, alright? But isn't that why we love movies? That's why we love movies that revolve around the hero's journey. Batman would be boring as fuck if Bane never kicked the shit out of him in that third movie, because that forced him to get back up, get stronger, face his fears, and make a comeback, which then allowed him to come back and mog the shit out of Bane. If Batman never held an L, we wouldn't watch Batman. We like Batman because we can relate to the story. And I'm Bruce Wayne for real.
Wait, you're not just some guy in a bat costume, are you?
The city needs me. No, okay, I'm tripping. But being honest, bro, I've had enough of life just coming along with these random side jobs, and I'm over it. And I'm in that mode where I'm ready to lock the f back in and start aggressively attacking my life again and just lock the f in. So what if for the last 3 months of the year, you done the same to see just what's truly possible in your own life when you lock the f in?
Oh yeah.
You don't need motivation, you need a reason. Why? Why do you want to lock in? Alright, so I'm basically just going to be listing the 8 most impactful things I've done over this last 2 years that have completely changed my life and allowed me as a past idiot to just lock the fuck in, bro. So yeah, and if you aren't ready for some motivational, life-changing yap, bro, just get the heck out this channel, my boy. Alright, let's go.
And it makes complete sense, because if you don't have a strong enough reason, of course you're not going to take action. As Jim Rohn says, when the why is powerful, the how is easy. And how did I find this magical way? Well, I had what MJ DeMarco coined in the book The Millionaire Fast Lane, the FTE, the fuck this event. TLDR, which means too long didn't read, or basically should fuck up and explain the point quickly. I had that this event. I was sick of the position I was in life, etc, etc, and essentially I was being a degenerate. I was fucking up so much in life, making so much mistakes, that I was just like, the pain of staying where I am right now versus the pain of growth. The pain of staying where I am completely outweighs the pain of growth. Like, it's not even tight shit. And so yeah, I locked the fuck in. I started to aggressively attack my life because I realized, what the fuck have I got to lose? I don't like where I am in life. I'm a broke uni student with 400 subscribers and a mid-ass physique. I wonder what happens if I just fucking try. Okay. I might fail. So, if I fail, I'll be right back where I started, having nothing and not liking the position I was in life. But I'll have answers. Oh, you tried the YouTube thing. It didn't work. Cool. On to the next. Because the thing is, at that point in my life, and this is a good question you can ask yourself right now in your life, I asked myself, if my life continued on this trajectory, and I had to look back on this life, would I be able to look back as an old dude with satisfaction and be proud of the life I live? And I realized
there comes a day, man. Everyone's gonna have this day. There comes a day where being average, being mediocre is just sickening to you. It's just sickening. It makes you want to throw up. Because you've seen people with far less talent than you. As you're growing up with them, their childhood buddies, whatever else, they didn't have what you had. Yet now they're going to become something that you haven't. There comes that day. It's either when you're young, you know, and it strikes you on the baseball field because you're sick of striking out. Or it's when you get fired from your 5th job, you know, and your wife and kids are on your ass because you don't know how to support them anymore. There comes a fucking day where push comes to shove. Where being mediocre and being like average and shit just fucking burns and sucks so much. You can't deal with it one more day. And you get off your fucking ass. And you create something that's always been there.
And so if you don't know your why, ask yourself, what would you have to have done to be able to look back on your life and be proud? Or ask yourself, what in your life right now would really piss you off if later on in life you had to look back and say, what if? Think to yourself, what gives you passion? What gives you purpose? What lights you up? Because I know people say, how do you find your purpose? I don't know my purpose. But bro, at a stage, I didn't know my purpose because I was running for myself. When you cut out all the noise, cut out all the social media, and you just actually sit there and listen to yourself, I think everyone deep down knows what they want to do. They know their passion, what's driving them. It's just, it's hard to listen to that voice. I pushed that voice away for so long because I didn't want to listen to it. If you actually listen to that voice, you'll know what to do. And that's the voice you need to tap into, because that's where all of energy and drive lies. When I realized I had nothing to lose and tapped into it, that's where all my motivation came from.
And look, once I got clear on my why, and once I got clear on my goals, it's genuinely as if everything gained a purpose. You know that saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything? Bro, that became my philosophy, dog. You look, the simple dumb shit, like going to the sauna and doing 35 minutes, if I realized if I leave on 30 minutes when it gets uncomfortable, that is the exact same mentality I'm going to bring into my goals. How could it be any different? It's all in one mind, just working on different things. Of course it's going to be the same fucking mentality. If I have dishes there, I know this is so stupid and sounds like such BS self-improvement nonsense, but if I have dishes that I need to wash and I do not wash those motherfuckers, I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow, and I don't do it tomorrow, I'm going to do the exact same thing at my work. My big goals.
It's upside down. It's 7:45. Not really. I've been overthinking the shit out of this video because it's tough to dive into the last 2 years of your life and think and dissect it, basically, what worked, what hasn't. I can wholeheartedly say that this is the stuff that's effective. God, obviously, as well, but yeah, I feel like I forgot to do this whole YouTube shit, to be honest. Bro, real talk, I just recorded for 2 hours a day. Recorded this shit, and it's all gone. My computer's just crashed. I don't know what the is going on. Let's go. Your thoughts? C7L, that's a pretty random thing to say. Now hold up, I don't know what's going on.
People will change their car, they'll change their underwear, they'll change their husband, their wife, they'll change their diet, but very few people change the way they think.
Thoughts, habits, routines.
And that's why they always fuck themselves in life. They never change the way they think. Oh, my house is old, I don't get a new house, I'm gonna get a new pair of this or that. But the one thing we never change, why we always stay the damn same, and never wonder why we're getting better, because we never change the way we think. I'm constantly changing the way I think.
By the way, I knew exactly what the fuck was going on. I just wanted to have a cool ass beat drop, right? Jeez, chill out. And yes, you may be wondering, why is there a rain background behind me? Well, because it looks cool. And you also may be wondering, why are you wearing glasses? Well, I don't know. I just thought I'd do it. I don't know. Because bro, life hack, change your thoughts and you'll change your life. Yeah, I understand that sounds like some hacky motivational bullshit, but it's fact. Because I even heard Goggins say that deadly quote where he just goes, once you change one thing, your mindset, then you can attack everything. And I think I'm going to listen to Goggins, because I was listening to his book, Can't Hurt Me, a few months ago in the gym. I had my earphones in, probably hitting some incline bench, you know, something like that. And he said he ran a 220-mile race. Crazy, right? But that's not the fucking crazy part, bro. He said he done it on a torn ACL. A torn ACL, do you know how insane that is? That's an injury that puts athletes out on crutches for over a year. So that shit had me going like, whoa, what is possible when you get your thoughts right? Because the thing is, you literally become your thoughts. Well, what happened? My thoughts changed. I started to realize I'd nothing to lose. I started to internally believe the mindset, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And as a result of that, my whole habits changed. And that's the thing. You become your thoughts, because your thoughts create your habits, and your habits creates your future. And what was it that my young slime James Clear said in Atomic Habits? If thou shalt curl the weight, then thou shalt grow the bicep. Oh, fuck with you. Nah, it was him or some old ass philosopher dude said, day by day what you think and what you do is who you become. Because here's the thing, I think as humans it's really fucking difficult for us to change habits when we're so hardwired in a particular way. And hey, if it isn't, I'll first hand tell you that I struggle so much to change my habits. If I say I want to get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow and start getting in that routine of getting up at 5, bro, it's going to be like 3 months before I actually start getting up at 5 a.m. because my mind's just going to fuck with me the whole time. But you can't change that, and I didn't realize that, because I was that dude who'd be like, alright, we're doing 75 hard, we're locking in, we're getting a routine, we're doing this. Bro, stop. If I could talk to me 2 and a bit years ago, I'd be like, bro, shut the fuck up for a second. And then I'd tell myself, bro, your issue is that you were trying to change things externally instead of internally. To which at that time I'd probably reply something like, bro, just shut up, you're trying to sound all smart so that you can overcomplicate shit. To which I'd be like, yeah, valid point, bro, valid. Yeah, that's fair. What I mean is, you're trying to work on new habits and routines and new goals while still having the same internal beliefs and thoughts that got you them bad habits in the first place. It's like the fire-ass quote I read recently when preparing to make this video. It said, you need to adapt a new way of thinking before you can adapt a new way of being.
The only thing that can kill iron is its own rust. Alright? So don't let your mind cause your own destruction.
Hi, yo, Editor C7L here, bro. Basically, I was just yapping in that portion, to be honest, and I wanted to speedrun it because I can explain it better, so yeah, that's why I'm setting up this. Alright, so I wrote 2 points down, how to change our thoughts. And why do we want to change our thoughts? Well, our thoughts dictate our self-image, and we always act in alignment with our self-image. So changing our self-image is pretty important. And firstly, to do this, you have to realize that what you consume really affects your thoughts. If we change this into the context of food, well, think about it. On one hand, you can have food that's an asset to your health, or you can have food that's a complete detriment to your health. You get me? So if we think about this in terms of thoughts, if you're consuming media that's negative as fuck, if you're hanging around negative people, if you're consuming negative music and all of this shit all the time, well, what's going to happen is that you're feeding your mind negative inputs. And if you compare it to the food analogy, on one hand, you have thoughts that are negatively impacting you, and on the other hand, you have thoughts that are positively impacting you. Because what you consume really influences your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind and self-image, etc., dictate how you act. So why would you want to input negative media that's going to make you feel shitter and perform worse? Secondly, how do we actually take control of our thoughts and change our self-image? Well, the way I've learned to do it is by using this double method that I've just made up, and it's 1, the John Jones method, 2, the evidence builder. Yeah, they're just dumb names I made up, but basically 1, the John Jones method. I call it the John Jones method because I just seen Prime John Jones using this, and I got it from Brian Tracy, but it's also using the book Psycho-Cybernetics, which I read recently, and it's a fire book just on how to change your self-image. And basically, this is where when you have a negative thought, you instantly catch it and replace it with a positive one. And it works because Brian Tracy says your mind literally can't hold 2 thoughts at once. So when you have a negative thought and you think of a positive one, well, you knock the negative thought out of your mind. And this is so powerful because it teaches you to think positively. Yeah, are you going to catch every thought? No, and don't obsess over it, because you do have something like 60,000 thoughts, I think, a day or some shit. And no, I'm not a trained psychiatrist, don't have a degree even in any of that, or do I have a degree in general, but the thing is, I have been an overthinker for most of my life, but this has really helped me, because when you have that negative thought and you replace it with a positive one, you're reinforcing in your mind and training it to think positively. And secondly, the evidence builder, this is basically based around the quote, you don't get confidence by shouting affirmations in the mirror, you get it by giving yourself an undeniable stack of proof that you are who you say you are. Because basically, to change your self-image, yeah, the affirmations part is great by having positive thoughts, by thinking of positive outcomes, but also you need to give yourself enough evidence to back up that thought. And once you give yourself enough evidence to back up a thought, well, then your internal beliefs will change. Because let's use the analogy of working out. If you're starting to think positively about working out, and then you give yourself enough evidence, and the evidence in this scenario would be going to the gym, and you stack up enough evidence, which means go to the gym a number of times, well then of course you're going to change your self-image to view yourself as the person who now works out. Because if you're already thinking, I am now a person who works out, and then you give yourself enough evidence to back up that thought, well of course that's going to become an internal belief that I am now a person who works out. And this doesn't just apply to workout, but everything. And really, even regardless of all that self-image shit, just training yourself to have thoughts of, I believe I can accomplish this. I believe I can, if I put my mind to it, I can do it. Because having self-belief is so powerful, bro. And if you can start changing the way you think, bro, it changes everything. So start believing you can accomplish it, and don't let your mind tell you all this fake bullshit. Like, mine always tells me doubts, insecurities, fears, all of this shit. But just catch it, bro. Catch it and immediately switch it to the positive thought, the positive way you want the outcome to be.
And hot take, routines are literally goated. And is that a hot take? Not by any means, I just thought I'd say that to make it more dramatic. But what I didn't realize for the longest is that your routine is either working for you or against you. That's why the shit's so goated. You can cultivate a routine to work completely in your favor, my dog. I'm gonna be honest, I used to not have a routine or any of that shit, but the most fulfilled I think I've ever been in my life is when 2 years ago, me and two of my best friends started to work out consistently at 6 a.m. We'd hit a hard workout, hit sauna, then go get a coffee, be back home by like 9 o'clock, and I'd go drink my coffee, probably watch some like Chris Williamson or Sulik or something till like 10:30. And then I'd start into making videos. I was in uni at the time, but I never worked on that shit. I just made videos and learned how to edit and shit. I gotta say, it sounds restrictive, but it's easily one of the most fulfilled I've ever been. And it's because everything had a purpose, you know? It was like, I don't know, it just felt so good, bro. And it's so much easier when you're grinding with people. Pause. When you're getting after shit with people, you know, when they're pushing you and helping you get better. But then around 6 months ago, I fell out of routine because we stopped working out together. One of my guys, he had an injury that he needed to rehab, so he started like prioritizing sleep and shit. And then the other guy, he started training for an Ironman. So, and by the way, he done the Ironman recently. I told him to hit the double body celebration, and my guy actually done it, bro. So he's coming back to the weights, you know. But I gotta be honest, when I didn't have that push around me, I fell out of routine. I started to sleep in more. I started not having a set time for my workouts, set time for anything really. And I was still working out every day. I was still doing my deep work and all, but it just didn't feel the same. I just didn't feel as fulfilled when I didn't have that consistency. I know it sounds so restrictive and so like, bro, you don't need to live your life like that. But at the same time, that's why I think the quote, discipline equals freedom from Jocko Willink is so true, man. Because at that time I felt so free, because it was like I was fully in control of my mind. Like, just felt great. Okay, and so how do you make a routine and structure your day? Well, bro, I can't tell you. And I can't tell you because you're going to have unique obligations, unique goals, unique things in your life that you're trying to do, and there are probably going to be some things that are different to mine. I'm being honest, I can't tell you how to live your life when I'm still trying to figure out my own. When making these videos, I'm never going to be able to tell you how to live life. All I can do is speak from experience, speak from the lessons I'm learning, and speak from the lessons I have learned. And if you can take something from that, great. If you can't, I don't know what to say, to be honest. I don't know where I'm going with this. But what I can do is tell you how I structure my day. And what I like to do is I like to ask myself the question, what would I need to do today in order for me to look back at the end of the day and feel like it was a fulfilling day? And then I do that thing consistently. Because remember at the start of the video when I talked about the dash being the time you have on this earth, what do you want to accomplish in that time? Shouldn't that be a priority for yourself every day? Or well, most is. And so structure your routine around that. Structure your routine around what will give you fulfillment. And so what I do is I build my routine by setting non-negotiables for myself to do each day. What will give me fulfillment is if I'm making progress on my YouTube, working out, and learning something new or doing something interesting with my friends or something, you know? If I can do that, I'm looking back on that day as a good fucking day. And the non-negotiables I set for myself is basically do my work early in the morning, because I'm a morning person. You might be a night person, whatever, it doesn't matter. I like it. I like doing my work early in the morning. Eat the frog, which is do my hardest task first thing in the day, because the theory with the frog is that if you were to eat a frog, you wouldn't want to eat it later in the day. You'd want to just get it out of the way early. Not to say that I don't like doing my work, but you know, there is some hard shit sometimes, like. And then I like doing 3 to 4 hours of deep work, because I'm not to sound like I'm some fucking old ass granda, but everybody is pretty distracted nowadays, and there's a trend, a hustle culture. I by the way, don't ever put me in the hustle culture self-improvement guru category, please. I'm just a guy who makes videos and talks about shit he's learning and what he's doing in life. I ain't no guru or nothing, bro. But I see there's like a growing hustle culture where these like entrepreneurs are talking about you gotta grind 12 hours a day, but think about it. What's more valuable? 4 hours of undistracted, focused work where you have no phone in the room, no notifications, you're just focusing intensely on the task. You set a timer and you just stick to it till it goes off. Or 12 hours of distracted work, and these guys tie their whole fulfillment to this. You gotta be working 12 hours a day shit. But think about it. Okay, I'm doing my thing, working. Then every 10 minutes, notification. Bro, what's gonna be more powerful? I think the 4 hours of deep work, and you get a life as well.
Gotta do that again. More spaghetti. Alright, workout. Can't lie, working out has changed my life. That is just a fact.
Alright guys, that's the workout, man. Shoulder workout. We didn't go to McDonald's and get our meals supersized. We went to the gym to get our life shoulderized. Is that a worker? Yeah, it's a word, man. Look it up in dictionary. Where would you find it? You find it right after fucking right before you. It's a theory, guys. It's a theory of excellence. A theory that you're willing to shoulder more than your responsibility of life because you expect and demand something more of life. Champion's mentality, man. You're not in the fucking system, in the arena, in the equation, hoping for a good result. You're demanding a motherfucking result.
Physique check. Let's do this. I know this vein is whatever. I feel cringe doing these, but whatever.
You're going above and beyond what's expected in the gym, what normal people do. You do more than what's normal because you want more than normal return of life's investment. That's shoulder eyes, man.
Oh my gosh, that right there is sad.
Why not you, bro? Put in the work. Put in the work, bro. I'm great when you do this. Routine. When you persevere, you get this mental clarity, this mental high that nothing else can give you. I say, if this was a drug, bro, if you could package a feeling after a workout as a drug, that'd be the most sold thing going. But no, it just takes sweat and hard work. So put in the work. You go and thank yourself for it. Even if you're not motivated right now, just find a way, bro. Find a way. And if you're skipping leg day, bro, you a bitch, boy. Yeah. So let's get after it. Leg day complete.
And on a side note, bro, I don't know how people say they don't want to work out, because I was talking about this with someone close to me recently, and I was like, the energy, mental clarity, stress release, the feeling good, the confidence, the energy you get from not being in a better in shape body, and just the feel good factor you get after working out, bro. It just feels so good. So that's why I'm like, I don't understand how people don't want to work out, because to me it's harder not to work out. If I had to go days where I was just not putting in the work, I'd feel like shit personally. When it comes to working out, bro, I've just seen how much that's changed my life. But when it comes to working out, bro, I've just seen what it's done for my life and how much it's bettered me, how much stronger it's made my mind. Because look, when you do a hard workout, bro, you kind of feel like anything's possible, because it's like the pain you go through in there is like kind of easier than any other pain outside in life. And so, for instance, if I do a crazy hard leg day to the point, obviously you don't want to get sick, but like to the point you nearly get sick, and you come out of there and you're like, whoa, I've just, one, bettered myself, but two, the outside world is so much easier. You can deal with stress is so much easier because you're constantly putting yourself through this like difficulty. Oh man, I'm just so fucking glad I found working out. I can't believe it's honestly one of my favorite things in my life. And I honestly can't believe it took me, like, I've always worked out, but when I started working out consistently, the discipline, the mental strength, the energy, everything it built, the possibility, how much better it made me as a person. So I just encourage you to just find something. I don't care if you're running, work, or if it's weights, whatever, but just find something, bro, because it's so lit. It's so lit to feel this good. Because when I have a bad day, bro, I don't think let's complain about it. My first instinct is, right, let's go hit the weights, because I know I'm gonna come out of there feeling so much better. So yeah, I'm pure glazing working out right now, but I should be. Come on. That working out shit is gonna completely change you as a person. I don't think, like, you can do all the theory, you can read, you can do all of these practices, but nothing will change you as much as working out will change you. Look how small this banana is. What the hell? Nah, this is the ultimate pre-workout. Of course, there's no honey barely left in my shit, but basically you get the honey, it's barely coming out. So you get the honey, and then you put it on the banana, and pause, but you eat the banana, right? Simple pre-workout.
Alright, everybody talks about just do hard shit, bro. I probably say it in every video, just do hard things. And everybody talks about you need to do hard things, but what if I said I had a secret sauce that made doing hard things feel easy? And yes, that is kind of just a clickbait hook, but if you are willing to push through a bit of pain, there is a way you can actually make hard things easier. See, around 20 months ago now, I was listening to the Huberman and Goggins podcast, and I heard Huberman say that we all have this area in the brain called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. Bro, that's a fucking mouthful, but he basically says this is the area in the brain that is responsible for your voice break, for your willpower. I'm gonna just call it AMC because I'm not spitting out that big shit again. And what is willpower? Well, to not give you a ChatGPT response, willpower is basically your ability to dog through hard shit. That's it. And so if you think about it, this AMC is basically just a trainable muscle in your brain for your willpower and discipline. And the more you train it, the more it will grow. And the bigger this area grows, the more willpower you develop. And if you have more willpower, well, then it's easier to do hard things. And so how do you grow this area? You grow it by doing hard shit. I know that sounds kind of paradoxical, but really, if you think about it, it's kind of like momentum. Yeah, rolling a rock at first, or rolling a big boulder, them initial pushes is so difficult, but once the ball starts rolling, or once the rock starts rolling, it gets momentum. It's easier to keep rolling it once you've pushed it. And so this is the same thing. Yes, doing hard shit in the beginning is difficult, but when you keep doing hard shit and you keep growing this area, doing hard shit becomes easy. So you just have to you just have to push through that initial resistance, that initial hard period. So I've started to basically just view discipline and willpower as just one big trainable stat that the more I grow it, the easier it will become to do hard things. It's like any game we've ever played, bro. I used to play GTA a lot, bro. In GTA, when you hit level 120, you get enough RP to get 120. What do? You get a minigun. And a minigun is far easier to ping around than any normal gun. Yeah, stupid analogy, but it's the way it is. The higher you train your skill level, or any character in any show, the stronger you become, the higher you train your skill level, the more you grow your willpower and discipline muscle, essentially, the easier it will become to do hard things. And there's a mindset shift I've heard recently that's really shifted my perspective, and I've been thinking about this for the last few months, but the way this guy phrases it is just elite. And yes, I'm gonna have to read it because I don't know it off the top of my head, but basically the guy says focus on your likes, not your wants. You may not want to exercise, but you like how it makes you feel. You may not want to write, but you like the feeling of accomplishment. You may not want to wake up early, but you like the calm beauty of morning. Wanting is the desire before doing something. Liking is the satisfaction you get after doing something. Let your likes guide you, bro.
Where's my dopamine photo?
Dopamine. This one might be top 2 for real for allowing you to lock the in. See, I've done my fair share of research on dopamine over the last year and a half. When I say research, it basically consists of me watching long form podcasts and scrolling Reddit, but I get it's research all the same. I guess. And I've came to the conclusion that where most people think they have a discipline problem, where they say, I can't get myself motivated to do this, why am I too tired or not in the mood? What they actually have is an overstimulation problem. Boom. And I don't normally do all this hacky bullshit or these tricks to like get yourself motivated and shit, but in today's day and age, bro, we can definitely say this is a hack. Shit's goated. Alright, so every person has a baseline of dopamine in their brain. And this baseline of dopamine is basically the amount of dopamine molecules you have operating in your brain at one time. So you can think of your baseline dopamine as essentially a wave pool. And that wave pool is made up of these dopamine molecules. And the more dopamine molecules you have in this wave pool, the more motivation you will have, because basically I like to think of dopamine essentially as your motivation molecule, because it's the thing that motivates you to do things. So the best way I can explain it is, let's say we have two guys, right? Here's our baseline dopamine level. Guy 1, Timmy. Timmy wakes up at 8 a.m. And what does Timmy do? My guy Timmy wakes up and he grabs reels straight away. And what happens to his dopamine? As soon as he wakes up, he's grabbing the reels, he's grabbing the TikTok. Boom! Sharp spike. And with this spike, we get dopamine molecules are being released out of his wave pool. And so the obvious result of him releasing all these dopamine molecules out of the wave pool is that his dopamine crashes way below his original baseline, which means the amount of dopamine he started with in his brain. And so he's now down here. And so he's like, right, I need to go shower now, I need to get ready for work, but he's like, I can't be arsed getting out of bed. I'm so not bothered with starting this day. That's because he's lost all his dopamine, his motivation molecules. Voice break. And so he's trying to regenerate this. He's regaining he's filling that wave pool back up again. But he's at work, it's 10:30. He's like, I'm just not feeling it. He's just like, I'm not feeling it. What does he do? He grabs reels again. And he starts lower down this time because he doesn't have enough dopamine molecules to refill his wave pool. And so what happens? His dopamine levels drop even further because he releases even more dopamine molecules. The dopamine molecules left, he releases them out of the wave pool. And so he's left way down here. And the more he does this, the more it drops, to the point, if he completely drops it over enough time, he may even end up feeling depressed. And when you drop it like this, so artificially, it takes longer and longer to rebound back up. But then we have Jimmy. Jimmy wakes up at 6 a.m. Here's his baseline of dopamine. Let me get his wave pool filled up. This is his wave pool. It's nice and full from that nice sleep, because sleep fills up your wave pool again. It restores your dopamine. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna jump on my notifications straight away, because I ain't no bot like that Timmy motherfucker. So yeah, bro goes for a run, or he goes hits the weights, whatever bro's doing, and he gets that nice natural increase in dopamine, because when you work out or do any exercise physically, you release what we call natural dopamine. Me talking like I'm some neuroscientist or something. Nah, bro, got this facts from like a dopamine podcast. But basically, he gets a natural increase in dopamine, not no artificial sharp spike where he's not removing all his dopamine out of the wave pool so artificially. No, he's gently releases dopamine out of the wave pool. That nice natural increase, and you'll see where it's like a nice steady increase. Bro's feeling really good. That's where you get the post-workout high, post-workout clarity, all of that. And so what happens? Everyone's like, whoa, why is bro's feeling all good at work and all? And what he's done, he's got a nice natural steady increase, and he's feeling good, he's feeling motivated, because the more dopamine we have when bro's in this state, the more motivation we have, energy we have, and the higher basically we keep our baseline level of dopamine, the more motivation we have. So TLDR, too long didn't read, or in my case, it's too long I don't care, is what you're wondering. Basically, what you want to do is not artificially spike your dopamine with cheap dopamine. And by doing that, you will have more motivation. Alright, so basically moved back in with my boys. We setting up the setup. Room's alright. We sitting on that drink. That drink being black coffee. I already had cappuccino today. You know, we gotta get that shit in. Alright, I had to save the best for last because this is my favourite, but grind Fortnite. I'm joking, I'm playing, but real talk, run directly at your fears. See, over the years I've heard people say everything you want in life is on the other side of your fears, and To be honest, my whole life I've kind of played that off as just some cute, stupid Instagram-ishy quote. But recently, bro, that quote couldn't be more true. Because if you really think about it, what stops us from pursuing our ambitious goals, from taking risks that could completely change our lives, from doing the hard shit that's gonna get us what we want? Well, fear, right? And for me, the biggest fear I've had to face is how I'm perceived by other people. Real talk, I've always struggled with, what do other people think of me? But you know what, from facing fears over the last few months, I have truly realized that everything you do want in life, as Will Smith famously said, is on the other side of your fears. Bro, when I was younger, I had my top off dripping with sweat when I created this channel. Now I have a channel I'm proud of. I create content I love. I've developed skills. I've grown as so much as a person. Like, forget all of the views and all bullshit and that side of shit for a second. As a person, the amount I've grown, the fears, every time I've had to face so many different fears on this journey, and every time, bro, I just get stronger and better because of it. Your mind becomes more calloused, as they say. Even a few months ago, I made a video called What If It Works Out, where I said I was so scared to post a TikTok, and I said I was going to post it. Bro, I put it off for 2 whole months because I was so fucking scared of what people thought of me. What are they going to think about me? How are they going to see me? Am I going to look cringe as fuck? But finally, one day I thought, fuck it. I got clear on my goals. I was like, at some point, I am going to have to face this fear. So why not just fucking face this fear now? Because you know what? I realize if I don't face this fear right now, I'm not going to face other fears, more important fears in my life. Posting on TikTok, bro, that was top 3 fears for me, for real. What if everyone sees me, thinks I'm so stupid, look like I'm some arrogant guy creating content? Why would anybody listen to me? All of that shit. But at 12 o'clock at night, about, I don't know, a few months ago now, I posted a video. While dripping with sweat with my top off, while listening to Greg Plitt motivational videos for confidence, I'd done it. And I cannot tell you, bro, the energy and clarity that came with that. As they say, energy is never lost, it's only transferred. Bro, all that anxiety, all that fear, what people think, all them negative thoughts, all of that was just transmuted into a surge. I'm not joking. For weeks after that, I had a surge of confidence. It's like the Brian Tracy thing. It's like, he says, once you face a big fear in your life, you give yourself proof for life that you can face any fear. And that's what you have to realize. Everything you want in life, all of your goals, everything they're on the other side of them fears. Every time I face the fear, I've realized that is the direction I need to go. That is where more of me lies. And not more of me physically. Well, you could say physically, because if you're scared of hitting a set of squats or something, you're going to grow physically. But what I mean is mentally, you're going to receive more of your personality, more confidence, all of that, more mental capacity, more mental clarity. It's just a whole different perspective shift of what's possible in life, and that's going to change who you are as a person. And so you're missing out on so much of life by not facing your fears. I don't know, you can barely see me right now, but I just posted the TikTok. It's 20 to 1. To be honest, I'll probably not be fit to sleep just because the energy I have from overcoming my fear and realizing after weeks and weeks of being so scared to do that, it wasn't even bad. What the fuck? And while that video, it wasn't no fairy tale ending, bro. It got a couple of 100 views, but it wasn't about the views anymore. It was about me overcoming my mind and realizing I'm not going to let fear dictate my life. I'm going to choose in this moment to realize fear is a feeling and I can fucking overcome it. Because, in them scenarios where you do care what people think, where you are too scared to pursue something because you're scared it mightn't work out, and people are going to judge you and think you're stupid and cringe. Well, what I've realized from this journey and just studying successful people in general is that for any worthwhile goal in this life, bro, embarrassment is the cost of entry. Embarrassment is the cost of entry.
Embarrassment is an underexplored emotion. Go out there and make a fool of yourself. And things like that.
That's really
right?
a good mantra.
To just go for it. Like, feel that feeling, the fear of cringe.
That's
and
really
then go
good.
out there and do it.
As they say, you're only cringe until it works. Bro, if I had told people about this YouTube channel 2 years ago when I had 400 subs, they would have said, quit this shit. It's cringe, bro. Why are you talking about all this shit? How are you ever gonna make it a content? And I haven't made shit, of course, and I haven't achieved shit yet, but I'm just saying, I've learned to just face them fears, bro. Because as I say, you are only cringe until it works. And so I've realized, and I constantly have to remind myself that 1, you gotta stop giving a fuck what people think about you. And 2, if there's a 50% chance that something might work out, a goal might work out, you gotta fucking go for that shit, bro. Because I don't understand. We play it so safe thinking that we have so much time, like life is just risk-free. There's we think there's jobs out there that just don't have any risks and we can just live a comfortable life, bro. But as I heard Togi say it, life is fucking risky, bro. From the moment you're born onto this earth, as I say at the start of this dash, regardless if you know it or not, if you didn't get to decide, life already decided that you were all in. And so if you're all in anyway, why not go if you think there's a 50% chance that something might work out? And I might be fucking yapping right now, bro. I might be rambling, but if you think there's a 50% chance, even 50, that something might work out, I personally think you gotta go for that shit. This here, there's a chance I fucking fail on my ass. Every video, there's a chance it gets no views. Every fucking pursuit I've went on, every starting a YouTube channel, bro, there's a chance even doing this I fucking go broke and don't make it, whatever. But in my mind, there's over a 50% chance that shit works. And if that's in my mind, I gotta go for that, bro. If I've been blessed with the fucking privilege of potential, I call it, why not fucking go for that? And sorry for all the swearing, but geez, I just get passionate about this shit because I just can't stand when people have so much ability and want to do things and aren't happy and content with where they are in life, but they're too scared to step out and confront their fears. They're too scared of what will people think, when they don't realize that feeling that fear is a good fucking thing, because it's just a sign that the real life is on the other side of that fear. Everything you want is on the other side of your fear, bro. So that's why I just started viewing fear as a compass. It points in the direction you need to go, and that's essentially what fear is. It's like I felt so much fear to pursue talking to a camera. Talking to a camera has elevated my content so much. It's made me better as a person. It has given me so much more confidence. And that's just one example, bro. But all of this shit, bro. Everything, like, oh, I can't. Oh.
And lastly, bro, I just want to say, put God first, truthfully, because I've been putting him first recently, and life is just so much better. I can't even lie, because truthfully, over this last year and a bit, I've struggled with my faith a lot. And when I haven't put him first, life is just instantly more harder. But the times I have put God first in my life, it's weirdly as if everything just perfectly plays out in my favor. You know, it's like life, the most success I've ever seen is when I've put him first. So, and I'm not just doing it for the success, but I'm just saying life is just, there's just so much more peace and you're just less worry and everything. So yeah, I put him first again and life's just so much better. And I say that because I focus so much on how I want the situation to play out. Like I'm always like, if I do this much work, I need this outcome. I need this perfect situation to play out exactly like this. And if it doesn't happen, then I'll be frustrated, you know? It's like if I post a video and it doesn't do what I want it to do, I'll be frustrated, etc. You know what I mean? You probably experienced it as well. But really, I've come to the conclusion that if I put in the inputs, if I put in all the work I can, work as hard as I can forget about the output, the outcome. Because that's not in my control, that's in God's control. So if I put in the input, work as hard as I can, that's a win in my eyes. I don't care about the outcome, that's in God's control. And whether the outcome is the way I want it to be or not, it's clearly going to be the right outcome because it's God who's in control and he wants the best for us, you know. And there's a Bible verse I love, I always put it in my community posts if you look at them, and it's, don't worry about anything, instead pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank him for all he has done. Then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything you can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Christ Jesus. Amen. So yeah, bro, I appreciate you watching the video. I just wanted to say that because, you know, I feel like I gotta give credit to God sometimes because I don't do it enough, and he is the reason I am who I am and where I am. And yeah, I really appreciate you watching the video. I know this was a longer video. Maybe it was a bit of a yap. I don't know. I put a lot of effort into this, so I'd appreciate it if you'd like, subscribe. And you're gonna be seeing a lot more of me, boy. We're gonna be going hard at this shit. So yeah, I'm really just excited for this new phase, this new chapter. Comment down below the best insight or life lesson you've learned over this last year to year and a half. Or just one you've learned in general or felt in general, something inspiring, and I'll pin the comment of my favourite one. And if you're familiar with the daily posts I put in my community tab, I'll turn it into a post and credit you. So yeah, leave a comment down below, bro. And as always, through hard work we grow. Peace!
Yeah, I thought I was trying to think of something cool to say. Nah, I ain't done that. Right, I'm out. Peace.